Now that we have Sombra, it's time to learn her true secret. Are you ready? With this ARG in release came something people weren't prepared for. A massive story being told. A story that pieces together not just Overwatch itself, but the entirety of their universe. The pieces have slowly come together, and now a story comes to life and the world of Overwatch changes forever. Even at this point, the story isn't over. We may have come across a major turning piece on Sombra's history, and now it's time to learn her future. Let's go everything we know about the elusive shadow, Sombra. Intentionally, Sombra's past is still a mystery, but not a blank slate. We do know that she was one of thousands of children left without parents after the Omnic crisis killed so many. She comes from Mexico, where the infrastructure was left in shambles, leaving her with only herself to survive without a society to support her. Utilizing the technology left over, she used her gift with computers to live on. Growing up in such a harsh, isolated environment, the only thing she could depend on was manipulation. Not just for computers, but for people as well. Her adolescence was spent under the protection and mutual relationship with the Los Muertos gang, who believed only the rich and powerful were unfairly above the chaos left over from the Omnic crisis. With a like-minded band of revolutionaries, she took advantage of the situation and spent her time steadily increasing her skills and thus her power and influence. Driven by her desire for her own personal brand of justice, she was bent on hacking those with power in order to gain control over life that she was never allowed to have. Without the need for any special powers beyond her incredible intellect, she was able to uncover something much bigger than anyone in Overwatch has encountered before. A massive global conspiracy. But we'll get to that in a second. As intelligent and as elusive as she was, it wasn't enough. Once you've opened the door, it becomes an entrance and an exit. Sombra opened a door she was unable to close, and for the first time since her childhood, she was left powerless. To avoid being caught, she had to completely retreat and erase everything that could ever trace back to her. Now, with her entire identity gone forever, our shadow had to re-emerge. Before we move on, let's stop and see where we are in the timeline. Gathering information from her origin story, we can see that Sombra still retained her former self at least some of the time during the Lumerico takeover. She is seen manipulating information with Los Muertos, and as she grew older started planning the infiltration in the company. Let's listen to see what she has to say here.
Relájate, I'm not going to kill you. I mean, I'm the one that set off the alarm.
Sombra, do you have the target?
After being discovered, it was time to upgrade. To become even more efficient, she had to be able to step away from the desk and into the field. Whatever she discovered wouldn't allow her even a second to make a mistake, so now she needed to hack and manipulate anytime, any place. After upgrading and erasing her entire past, she donned the alias Sombra, aka Shadow. It was at this time, with help from her collective, yeah, that's us, she succeeded in taking down Lumerico. Interestingly enough, it looks like a member of Los Muertos was an employee of Lumerico, given the connection here. So where are we today? It looks like Sombra's notoriety and infamy followed her still, and Talon has shown great interest. Being the perfect opportunist, Sombra joined their ranks, and just like Los Muertos, for her own gain. From the infiltration animation, we can confirm that she works for Talon, as her relationship with Reaper has been teased for quite some time. The ARG left us at Volskaya Industries wondering what next, and now we know. The infiltration and murder of Russian figurehead Katya Volskaya. Except, not necessarily. Talon so far has been successful on half of their known missions up to this point. They successfully murdered peace leader Mondara in King's Row, and failed to procure the Doomfist gauntlet in supposedly Numbani. Their third known mission ended in failure as well, but this time at Sombra's hand. Cutting off communication with Reaper and Widowmaker, Sombra makes a deal with Volskaya herself by threatening the ruin of her reputation and the impending public chaos at the news that Katya gets her tech from the Omnics themselves. With Lumerico virtually powerless and Volskaya in her pocket, where does this leave Sombra in the future? Let's take another look at Sombra's conspiracy network. We can see here that there is a direct link between Volskaya and Lumerico. What exactly that is, we don't know just yet. What we do see is a direct connection between Katya and the Omnic she made a deal with. This Omnic connects to a mysterious new symbol linking to interesting Omnic/mech schematics, more than likely an incredibly useful factor in the production at Volskaya Industries. So far, the best indicator for this symbol would be to represent the Russian Omnium, and even more likely a connection to the third, or should I say fourth, God program. Looking at an additional schematic connects to none other than the Doomfist gauntlet. How exactly does this tech relate to the Omnic symbol, and how does that relate to the unknown newest user of the gauntlet? If there's one thing we've learned from this ARG, and if there's one thing that we've learned from Blizzard, is that they love attention to detail, and so does Sombra. Take a look at what Sombra does whenever you're waiting to choose her as a hero. If you take a closer look, it's the same 3 dots that are shown here on this network. It's the same 3 dots shown on these schematics, and it's obviously a direct connection to the Omnics that Katya is working with. What exactly does this mean? So far, the best indicator is that these Omnics have a direct connection to the Doomfist gauntlet, whether they be the creators or partially responsible for the tech involved. Our best guess is that these Russian Omnics have a direct link to our newest hero, Doomfist. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to say that Doomfist and the Omnic showed with Katya have a direct link. Here we see our beloved Reinhardt, the lovable force of positivity, justice, and protection, who happens to have a direct connection with this mysterious figure, an Omnic-like being similar to other Omnics shown elsewhere. This being, along with every major entity in her network, has a direct connection to our true rulers of our Overwatch world, symbolized by the all-seeing eye. So far, this organization seems to be our best guess at the cause for the Omnic crisis that sets everything in motion. What does this mean? What do all these corporations and other entities have to do with the global conspiracy? What do they want, and what exactly does Sombra intend to do? Our best clue is this Omnic here and the Doomfist gauntlet. Stick around for another video in the near future where we dive into all the possibilities involving these groups and how Sombra is involved with them all. Give me your theories and feedbacks in the comments below, and make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to find out more about what our little hacker and what the future of Overwatch holds. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.